So we are Snowline Gold Corp. I will be making some forward-looking statements, naturally, as we're a forward-looking company. We also operate on the traditional territory of the First Nation of Na-Cho-Nyak-Dun, who that's where our flagship properties are. And so, as I mentioned, I've been involved with the company a long time. We are a new company, but not a new endeavor. The company stems from prospecting efforts of my father, which started in the 1980s, and I joined him very shortly thereafter. That's me in the bottom, actually working on some of Snowline's portfolio back in, I guess that was 1998 that picture was taken. And during that time, we've staked over 1% of the Yukon territory and optioned it out to various companies. So we have definitely not been idle, and we've covered a lot of ground, and we've come up with some really interesting prospects along the way. Snowline is finally the public expression of our discoveries, and ultimately we got to a point where we had gotten so much and so many low-hanging fruit in terms of targets and an interesting concept that I'll dig into in a minute here, that we realized we needed public money, we needed bigger resources to really test these ideas. So from that prospecting, we put together a package of 7 gold properties, all of them kind of passing a bar within our portfolio that sort of had a blue sky gold potential. They're all greenfield. We've stayed out of the gold rushes that have happened in the Yukon. We've stayed out of the Klondike, and we've really focused on new ideas and new areas. So we come to the table with 100,000 hectares of ground that's been kind of carefully selected and whittled down over those 30 years. And we're not starting from scratch, obviously. You know, we've had more than $20 million spent on these projects, defining some really big, interesting areas. And I'm going to just zoom in on those 4 projects that you see out by the Northwest Territories border there, kind of in the eastern Yukon. And as we do launch a company, I guess I'm a second-generation prospector. We are looking to build sort of a next-generation company and setting a pretty high bar for ourselves out there, which I think really benefits the places that we explore, but it also benefits the company and our shareholders as we go forward, and giving us kind of the social license to operate and know that we can explore out there sort of in the right way. And as a Yukoner born and raised myself, I am looking to build a company that I can walk down the street in Whitehorse without getting objects thrown at me. So that means a lot. And what really vectored us into this part of the Yukon is the Selwyn Basin. So these rocks were basically neighbors to the rocks that are now the Great Basin in Nevada, which hosts over 200 million ounces of gold in the Carlin Trends, and some various other deposit types as well related to that same package of rocks. And they've been quietly sitting up in the Yukon this whole time too. Some interesting gold discoveries made, but a lot of potential just sitting there. And there were some discoveries. Some of you may know that in 2010, Carlin-style mineralization was found in the Yukon, actually very close to our properties. We were looking in that area at the time, and that's how we had our foot in the door to stake such a large land package there. But what we're noticing is that, well, in this last rush, so much of the attention was given to this one deposit model, Carlin-style deposits. There's a whole spectrum of deposits that those sorts of fluids could generate if, depending on what they hit when they get up to the surface. And so we obviously have that potential of Carlin. We have Carlin nearby. We have Nevada-like rocks, and they've gone through a lot of the same sort of preparation. But we also have other deposit styles that we're seeing out there. And when we got all this data back from that last go-around, the sort of 2010, 2012 era, there were a lot of things in there that weren't Carlin, but that were extremely intriguing, including rocks that look, basically orogenic and very shallow orogenic. And I'll get into that in a minute, because that was the first of our, really kind of exciting discoveries. And so just to give a better picture of this area that we are exploring in, the discovery I mentioned is Attack Resources. They have 1.7 million ounces there, just over 4 grams. And there's a nearby Carlin occurrence called Venus that was drilled by a private company as well. So, these rocks are prospective for Carlin, but they're prospective for a whole suite of different minerals as well. Different deposit types, all gold so far. And this is, I want to draw your attention. First, the numbers are very nice, and I encourage you to read them. But first, I wanted to draw your attention to that photo in the top right. And that That's a picture of the Jupiter zone. You can see it doesn't look like too much, but to an economic geologist or to a prospector, it looks like a lot. Essentially, you walk up that creek, and there are boulders anywhere from a football to the size of this podium that are running anywhere from a gram to 25 plus grams gold. And that's stretching over 3 kilometers, very hard to miss. And yet this area has never been staked before. This is just, totally greenfield. And you know that if any prospector or any geologist had walked up this stream before, they would have staked this ground. And so that's part of what really excites us about this area, is that you can have world-class deposits sticking out of the ground, and you can be the first person to stub your toe on them. And so that's what that picture is what our Jupiter target was at the start of the year. We drilled it, and you can see we got into a very nice orogenic system, beautiful multiple intercepts per hole in a lot of the holes. Some really nice grades coming together up to 6.5 meters of 13.2 grams, being one of several zones in the same hole. And so obviously that was pretty exciting. We stepped out 150 meters to the north, hit again. We stepped out 1.1 kilometers to the north in a totally blind area, just because we'd already made the discovery. We couldn't really, didn't have much to lose. And we hit again. We got back into the system, got into alteration, got into the quartz carbonate breccias that we see, and actually found our first visible gold there. So that was a really exciting discovery. And there you can see, just stepping up, we've tested basically 1.1 kilometers of a 3-kilometer geochemical anomaly, and we have a lot more work to do out there. Following that same sort of philosophy with nothing left to, or not much to lose, having made that discovery, we moved farther south to a totally different target type, a bulk tonnage sort of a target. And so this is a Fort Knox intrusion-related gold target. Last 4 holes of the season, we drilled this just in September of last year, and all 4 of these holes hit visible gold. Again, this is another target that's never tested. There's a kilometer scale intrusion sticking out of the ground there that doesn't show up on any geological map. And yet, with all 4 holes, visible gold, beautiful long intersections of relatively consistent mineralization. Our best was 1.25 grams per ton over 168 meters. So really just a spectacular way to start things off. And that was, those were the first 2 targets of well over a dozen on our combined package there. And various deposit types. There is Carlin potential up here still. We do have Carlin targets in our portfolio. We have more of these episodal orogenic targets, and then of course we have this valley target as well. So it's really just it's a matter of what do we even drill. But we've made some good discoveries, and we have our strategy, and we're excited to kind of double down on that in 2022. We are well cashed up. We have $8.5 million at hand right now. We're looking to bring a second drill into the project this year, do $7 million of exploration, including over 8,000 meters drilling. At Einarson, we'd like to get back in there with a big IP survey to kick things off. And that's specifically at the Jupiter target. Einarson is a huge project. Really we'll be drilling on both targets to get a better handle on the scale. Both of them we're just scratching the tip of the iceberg, and get a better sense of control so that we can kind of drill smarter as we go forward and really build out these systems. And both Jupiter and Valley, the discoveries are complemented by similar targets nearby. So we would like to, in the same way that we peeled off the drill to drill Valley at the end of the year this year, we would like to peel off both drills for some adventurous drilling on some of these really intriguing low-hanging fruit of targets nearby. We also have Ursa, which is a very interesting base metal project with gold potential that made it into the Snowline bin because of that potential, and we have some shareholders who are quite excited about it. So we will take a pretty serious look at that, because it looks a lot like a sort of a Howard's Pass type lead zinc system. So we definitely want to take a look at it and potentially look at how we can monetize that for our shareholders going forward. We've built a good team around these projects. I think these people are discovery holes in themselves. We have Craig Hart as the chair of the board. He's a world-class researcher on a lot of different gold systems, and a really strong technical team that's come together to help us run through this. And similarly, we have a very strong shareholder base. both my father and I own a fair bit of the company through our private shell that our private enterprise that we vended the projects into the company with. We had Crescat Capital come in for a major stake, and Keith Neumeyer was one of the instrumental people who recognized the potential in our package right out of the gate, and has put a lot of investment in and sort of made a lot of things happen for us. So we're in a very strong position financially. We have a nice share structure, and we're really looking forward to getting back out there this year and making more discoveries. I'm over time, so I'll just go over this. But essentially, we've, in those 30 years, we've condensed that risky, low success leg of the Lassonde curve, and we are, we're poised right at the start, not just on one target, but on multiple.